This is the University of National Champions. This is part 7. Y'all know how we do this, right? But we're going to talk about it on 94 Feet of UNC.
Doherty to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackout streaking in on Park. Rebound dunk is good, and he gets fouled by Park. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackout.
I think that he's running back so quickly, but you know what? They're down the it's fair to You can't teach that high-rising ability. 3. And Green rips down the rebound in traffic. 4-on-1. Great job. What a terrific job in transition. I mean, you could.
The glass no good. Rebound followed by hand throw. Good! Carolina.
Inside 30 overall. Love, top of the key.
Alice, the bounce is over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new dean in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title. Happen any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion. And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
Pretty cool.
What's up, everybody? It is It is Tuesday, November 19th. You are tuned in to the 94 Feet of UNC podcast. I'm your host, Linzel Graham. I got a big special guest, of course, in the building with me today, a New York native, of course. You know, got to have New York in the building. He stopped in to chop it up with me a little bit. But before we get into him introducing himself, let me start off and say, listen, I know last week I had a week off, had a lot of things going on, but we back now. I appreciate everybody, appreciate the love and support. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any content that I provide for you. Also, make sure you follow me on my socials, on Twitter, on Instagram, at 94 Feet of UNC. Once again, appreciate all the love and support from everybody, man. I truly appreciate it. Got 94 Feet of UNC podcast merchandise is coming soon. I know I keep telling y'all, but trying to work out some things here. But I got to keep reminding everybody here, all right? So just be in tune for that, all right? So my special guest, of course, in the building with me today, he decided to stop in and chop it up with me. I got Mr. Brian Reese in the building. B,
what's going on, Giselle? How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Man, listen, absolutely. It's been a long time in the making.
Sure,
you know, we've been back. Yeah, we've been back and forth with each other, trying to make some things happen, figure out some schedules or whatever. You know, but we here now. So you know, it's an honor and a pleasure, of course. Just like I tell everybody, man, to be able to sit here and chop it up with all of the alum players that I grew up watching, and just becoming a fan of UNC. It's just truly an honor to be able to be in this position to do so, man. So I truly appreciate you stopping by and sitting down, chopping it up with me a little bit. Listen, B, like I tell everybody, get comfortable, kick your shoes off if you want to a little bit. Like my man Joe Button always say, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. You know what I'm saying? If you need something to drink, I got you. Whatever the case may be, we gonna make it happen today, man. So listen, let's get into it, man. Let's tell everybody about yourself and who you are for those that don't know. But just in case, I got to let everybody know this is a legend, everybody.
I appreciate that, brother. Well, I'm class of 94 at UNC, from the Bronx, New York. Right now I'm coaching at Monmouth University, assistant coaching with King Rice. He's the head coach here at Monmouth. Just returned with him probably the last 3 years. Before that, I was coaching in Turkey for Turk Telekom, and then I coached the German national team with Henrik Rodel 4 years ago. When I was at Illinois State for 6, just been bouncing around, been coaching now for the last 19 years, and just take care of my family. So things been going well.
That's what's up. Listen, listen, a lot of people don't know, but I know. You just mentioned a couple more UNC legends in that open statement thing right there. You mentioned a couple of more, like
gotta keep it tight.
Yeah, people don't. A lot of people don't know about King Rice.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about Hendrick Rodel. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That was my
But
point guard. Led us to the Final Four in 90, 91 against Kansas. I mean, he was our leader.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy how you say that, right? And because the game has changed so much nowadays, right? Bro, Hendrick Rodel, very underrated. Very underrated. What is 6'5"?
6'6". He
6'6".
played our point. He was a combo for us. He played the point and the shooting guard for us.
Bro, 6'6", playing the
and
point.
Guarded whoever. Like he guarded 1 through 3, and they thought it was sweet, but it never was. He played.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, he listen. I think Rodel would flourish in this new era of basketball now.
Okay.
Oh my
God.
God.
He was already doing things that, you wouldn't even think that he would do. He'd go and dunk it on you, defend and finish, knew how to play the game, always caught the game, and it carried over. Now that's why he's coaching. Like I said, he's coached the German national team, all of that. And now he's in Egypt coaching, head coach over there. And like I said, I had an opportunity to coach for them 3 years ago, so it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Big shout out to Hendrick Rodel and King Rice. And King Rice. King, if you see this episode, which I'm sure B Reese is gonna let you know about it, but you already know what it is, my guy. You know you got to come and chop it up with me. I know you a busy man at Monmouth, but you got to come chop it up with me, dog. You got to come chop it up with me for sure. I got some questions to ask you. I got some questions for you, bro. For sure. Right. For sure.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. So B, let's get into it, right? Tell everybody, walk us through your recruitment process at UNC and what it was like, how you came to narrow your schools down, what made you choose UNC, just the whole gist of it. Walk us through that process.
The short version, not the long version, but definitely
however you want to do it, my brother.
Just from my freshman year, I went to Talent Time, St. Nicholas Talent Time High School in the Bronx. I played alongside Malik Sealy, Agent Autry, Wayne and Boone. I had a lot of the Jerome Holmes, everybody was Division I player. We came from the program, Riverside Church program, and I played with these guys and had the opportunity. He was already top in the country because we had Malik Sealy on the team. He was already a All-American guy, looked at, getting hardly recruited. So my freshman year, I started getting recruited pretty good too. A lot of teams looking at me. But my first one was Larry Brown from Kansas. Come on, Kansas wants you. You think you're a freshman, you get a letter. And then it wasn't one of those. It was one of those handwritten Larry Brown. I'm looking, I'm like, wow, I'm going to Kansas. Right. That was my first letter. How you get you young. Because, like me, I was more not in the street doing stupid stuff, but I was in the street playing ball. I'll play anybody for some bread. That's how how city do it. I would go in any park and, drug dealers or whoever, they got that money up. I used to be trying to get it. Okay, I don't give a hustler. Whatever. My age group, 13, 14, 15, whatever, I was trying to get it. So that was the beginning. But then, like I said, I went through high school and I started seeing what was happening. I was getting recognized for the ball and getting a chance to play on the stage with Agent Autry and Malik Sealy and them. By my sophomore year, Carolina started coming to me because I guess Coach Brown was telling them and they knew they were recruiting me. And then Coach Ford, Coach Smith and everybody, Coach Will, they started recruiting me, come to see me my sophomore year, and we was #1 in the country at that time. We were #1 overall at the end. We won the city championship, we won the state championship. So all that exposure and winning, and I was like a freshman starting on this big time team, So I got a lot of exposure. So then, like I said, Carolina started recruiting me. That's my favorite team. I always had a dream. The first game I ever watched was when they won the championship. You know what I'm saying? Against Georgetown. I was watching Georgetown game because downtown Freddie Brown was the point guard. He went to Stevenson in the Bronx with my brothers and stuff. And our brothers play baseball. So we watching the game, watching Georgetown, Carolina win. I'm like, dang, that's my team. And I used to always wear Carolina blues. So I always kind of paid attention, but I was a baseball player. I was playing football more. I just started playing basketball when I was 12. So when I got into knowing what basketball was and Carolina was recruiting me, I wanted to go to Carolina, of course. But then came on my junior year, my senior year. Everybody recruited me now because I'm top 10, top 15, whatever in the country. And I had to break it down, but I was leaning toward Georgia Tech because Bobby Creme is a New York guy. I had Kenny Anderson there. I knew him because I grew up playing Riverside with him and staying in his crib since I was 13, 14 years old. And then they had Dennis Scott. I knew Dennis Scott too because me and Grant Hill was cool growing up from 13, 14. We thought we was going to go to Carolina together, that type of stuff. And then, and then I was still seeing North Carolina was recruiting hard. But now, like I said from the beginning, I'm about that pay or either pay me to play or type thing. I ain't gonna lie. I was on it like that. Carolina wasn't on it like that. That was the only school, kind of, So at that time, I was highly favored thinking about going to North Carolina as much as my junior, senior year. But they were still recruiting me. I was seeing what's going on, but I liked the nucleus of guys that was going in. But I was kind of like, I came in, I was like the fourth guy to commit or something, or fifth, or whatever. 5 guys that we all came in: Cliff Rozier, Eric Montross, me, Derek, and Pat. So I was like, I think I was the last one, but I was not sure. I was like, I want to go, but like I said, I like Georgia Tech. I like St. John's because it's right at home. Malik was there. I was just thinking like that, And then my mother wanted to go to North Carolina. I had 2 brothers that's preachers. They lived in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. So my brothers was down there. My mom's loved the way Coach Smith was recruiting. He was about, one thing I can promise you, your son will get is an education. So he ain't saying nothing about no money. He ain't saying nothing about he going to the pros. He ain't say nothing about anything that my mother was like. My mom's was big. I'm the youngest of 10. So my mom's big on my siblings and us getting education. My mom's and pops and them don't. My mom's had me when she was 44. I'm 10 years apart from my next sibling. So all 9 of them grew up together. I grew up, with my niece and nephew type thing. And they all got their degree. I only got one brother that was in the street. He the only one. He passed away when he was 48. And then my sister, handicapped sister. But all 8 of us from the hood got our degree. So my mom making sure me, I better get it. I better make sure. So that was the main thing. Nobody came there recruiting to my family like that but Coach Smith. So the day when me and Agent Orchie was going to decide to go to school, I was kind of everybody pressuring me. How are you going? I ain't want nobody to know. Because I was about to go to Georgia Tech, right? Because in my head, because it was really on way to everything. And I'm telling you, the whole way from home was unbelievable in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like when I went on my visit. So now I go to my podium. I was like, next year I'll be attending you. First Red like next year I'll be attending the University of Syracuse. Everybody, going crazy and everything. And then when I said next year I'll be attending the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, everybody started booing. And I was like, dang, because they felt like they wanted me to go to Georgia Tech or St. John's, of course, because I was kind of like leading like that was going to do. But my mom said, just got wrong where I live at the Key Food, and then she in a wheelchair, and she was crying so bad because she didn't want me to say Georgia Tech or North Carolina. She was like, she crying right when I was up there, and I knew she wanted me to go to Carolina. She knew what's best. I'm a listener, you know. I'm the youngest. That's what I was me and my mom. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. You know what I mean? You know, you're young, you're trying to run these different things, but that was the best decision of my life. So I ended up, like I said, I was at that podium. That was my moment. I was like, next year I'll be, I told her what it was. And I'm telling you, I was, after I graduated from school, I was in North Carolina 10 days later. And I was there with George and them getting ready because I wanted to play. I don't know how many minutes I want to play, but I was going to try to figure it out. And when I did that, I played as a freshman. I backed up. I was part of that white team. And then my sophomore year, I was playing. That was my spot. So it's pretty cool. So that was my recruit.
Yeah. Listen, I always tell everybody, because I have this conversation with just basketball fans in general all the time. And especially with UNC players, with UNC fans and things like that. To me, and this is just me growing up, in my time, in my era, when I was watching Carolina basketball, to me, you're the blueprint to all of the other great defenders that have came through UNC. That's to me. Like, you got the Leaky Blacks, you got the Jackie Manuels, you got, even now this year and last year, you got your Seth Trimbles, you got your Drake Powells. But to me, it all started with Brian Reese. Your game was just so unique. Like, it's just so smooth. You was just smooth, bro. Like, the way that you would just get to the basket, kind of glide your way to the basket and, drive. And I mean, just the way that you just played was it's a style that I've never seen. Like, still to this day, years and years later, still to this day, I've never seen a game or a style like B. Reese's. Like, you was just smooth, bro. Like, I like the smooth criminal. That's what I used to call you. I used to call you the smooth criminal because it was just like, yo, B. Reese is different. He's just different. And at that time, of course, you had because we're gonna get into it here in the next topic or whatever. But you had Phelps, you had Montross, you had Lynch, you had Salvadori, you had Sullivan, you had Rodel. Like, everybody complimented each other on that team. And
definitely was all on the same accord. You know what I mean? Like, dudes was
for sure
wanted to win games, and no matter who was getting whatever, at the end of the day, you want to see a W. And,
right.
I feel like any of the guys out in my 4 years there, we did that. We got a lot of W's and a lot of really good W's at that time. So.
And I see why Coach Smith recruited you. Like, like I said, still to this day, I tell everybody that whole defensive thing, and that's just from when I started watching Carolina, because I was born in 81. I don't remember the 82. Like, I remember watching a little bit of like King Rice, Rick Fox era. I remember watching a little bit of that. But still at that time, just maybe a little bit too young to really, really understand the game, UNC, things like that. Like I said, my whole family were Tar Heel fans.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, when I really started getting into watching and leaning more towards Carolina, I was trying to figure out which direction I was going to go, because I was leaning towards Michigan. It was the Fab Five was just special. Like, and nobody can deny that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I was becoming a Michigan fan, but then watching that 93 championship and just watching how excited my father was. And, you know, I follow in my father's footsteps, like great man, things like that. So I'd already knew. Yeah, I'm a Tar Heel fan. He's from the Bronx.
Okay.
He's Yankees fan, Knicks
Me too.
fan, Giants fan,
All right, me
and
too.
Tar Heel. So I mean, there you go,
Living
right there.
dollar. Yeah.
Nothing, what's understood don't need to be explained, right? So
Exactly.
followed in his footsteps, and that 93 championship got me over the edge. Just said, you know what? Yeah, it's UNC.
There
It's
you go.
UNC.
Good.
And just like I said, just watching you, watching Lynch, watching Phelps. I mean, and just the team in general, it was just incredible, man. So, which brings me to my next question. I gotta know, and everybody probably wants to know this: the process of what it felt like leading up to the national championship game, but then what it felt like when the clock hit 0-0-0. How did what was the feeling like? Like the emotions, everything. Walk us through that.
I think a lot of it just before when we knew after you talking about after we won against Kansas to go to okay when we beat Kansas and we go into the championship game, it was more about we're here, you know. And as far as I think me and George is the voice more so about how it need to happen, you know. Basically, George, don't get me wrong, he was more the leader of it. Rodel too, he's real good at that too, to just bring us all together to know that everything we've done already is to win the championship. And then at the same time, we already had lost to Michigan and Hawaii earlier that year, a few months ahead. And it was on the buzzer beater. So we already beat them already. And then I went in there, tried to box out Webb, and I dunked. And then Jalen was able to scoop it up and dunk. Game over. We lost. So we come in there, we ain't gonna lose to them again. And we already know what we have to do, you know. And now we have to hold down Howard and Webb, you know, Chris Webber mostly, you know, and Jalen and King them good plays, Ray and them too. But the main thing we knew how Webb and Juwan was going to do, that we had to work off of that, you know, especially Webb. So, and then we just had to just stay what we do, get the ball inside, share the ball, get the open shots, and of course, Donald, do what you do. Everybody do their part, okay? And that's what happened. Nobody tried to deviate from the plan that we did from winning all those games into the finals. And we won a lot of games that year. You get what I'm saying? So, and by big margins, 20, 25, you know, we was winning convincingly, you know. And then so now we in there. So that was the whole talk and the whole mindset. We wasn't even really worrying about that. We was worrying, everybody in the world was worried about. We was worrying about how we going to do it, how we always plan. That's our coach. Look, we don't even look at what they plan is. Like what type of play. We don't what we gonna do. How we gonna execute? Who's gonna run to get open for the next guy? Who's gonna get open for the shot when I penetrate? You want to be available for me? That type of stuff. That's the way we talked about it. And we got there, and I think we was really comfortable with that place. Even to the point, if you noticed in the whole game, it was like Lee's was up and down. Nobody was worrying about. We stayed the course, you know. And then, like I said, D. Phelps is our leader on the court. Me and George and everybody else, we would talk all that on outside before the game, but then the game time come, we listening to Derek Phelps. He knows what to do. He's calling the plays, and he was an extension of Coach Smith. And then once again, you just do your part. My part, once again, defend extra possession, get on the board, and make sure nobody bully our team. You know, there's a lot of that too. Ain't no bullying going on with UNC through 94. You know what I mean? We came in there fighting, defending, and nobody taking no step back. So I don't know nobody on that squad that I ever seen them just let somebody just dominate them. And if somebody was, we want to help. We ain't let nobody dominate Eric or George or me. No, we want to help each other. Get the ball up out of him, somebody else get it. We knew enough to do that. So that's how we got to it. And when we got it, then of course, one shining moment, brother. You know, he came away with the victory. And that's the best feeling in the world when you know, especially when he called the timeout. I knew Don was going to make a free throw the way his game was going. Man, he could have made those with his eyes closed. So, yeah. And that was victory. And I seen you had your tape. The person that's jumping across at the end and the ball was thrown out, that's me. I jumped out. I'm so happy. Got one, and then the best thing ever, got one for Coach Smith, man. That's what we really working toward, man. He needed one, all that stuff on his back. Come on, man. And then he brought us in there, that unit. We all came in there as freshmen with the unit that was already with George and, you know, Matt Winstrom and Salvadori and all of them dudes was there already. Henrik, you know, and then the young guys came and did their part. Nobody, it wasn't about who shined. As long as the end of the results was a W.
Yeah, yeah. Few things. Number one, I know it had to be intense as far as just being nervous. You know, it's one thing to play in front of 20,000 people in the Smith Center, but it's another thing to play on a big stage like the Final Four or national championship game in front of 70,000 something people. Like, I can only imagine.
You know, but you understand, that's like our second. We were there Final Four. So with Kansas, we lost my freshman year. So now we go to Sweet 16 my sophomore year. Once again, that's a big stage. We touched that already. And then our junior year, I'm telling you, it's whatever's going on between that lines. You know, dudes was nervous. Dudes made mistakes. I stepped out of bounds at a crucial time. You know what I mean? It ain't like it. It wasn't no nerves. I'm trying to play. I'm trying to win. You know, it was one of them things. I see it was my freshman year. I never been in. But nah, like I said, freshman year, Final Four, 16, national champion. You know, like, we in them games.
Yeah. That's I can only imagine what it's like just to sit there inside of not a coliseum, but a football stadium full of 70, the Superdome in New Orleans, like in front of 70 something thousand people. I don't know how I would feel. I don't know. I don't even know if if Coach said, "Hey, you got to go in," and I look around and I see all of that, like that's. I might be like, Coach,
what you're seeing too, what I see mostly, I know Michigan fans was in there. I seen that Carolina blue.
Yeah.
And this to this day, I go to when they won it in whatever Detroit and I went to all of those championship games, and what I see that Carolina
that blue was in there.
Oh,
that blue was in there.
It's something for you to want to fight with that, fight for that. It's something with that.
Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, it's different. Crazy if you see in the corner of that thing in a 70,000. You know, nah. I don't know whoever we playing against. We gonna have more? Oh, definitely have.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because UNC fans are everywhere. That's a fact.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's a fact. Yeah. So listen, I heard two stories, right? And one of them involved you. I think I was talking to I can't remember who it was that I was talking to, but I heard one story that there was a time situation with, I think it was a little bit of time left on the clock.
Okay.
Coach Smith had called the timeout. You missed the dunk.
Yeah.
So you already know what story I'm.
I mean, that's the question. That's one of them things. I'm on Jeopardy. I'm sitting there. I'm saying, who missed the dunk in '93 to go to the Final Four? Brian Reese. It's like, yeah, I hear it all the time. But the end result, I always tell people, you know, I do what I do. Okay, he told me you ain't gonna have time to dunk the ball, just drop it in, but you won't be open. Man, that thing is so open, but I do what I do. I went to go dunk it. Corey Blunt undercut me. They not gonna get the cut. I'm not making no excuses. I should have dropped it in, but I took a good step like I usually do, and I just went to crush it. The underneath ball comes out. I wasn't in my feeling at first. But once again, my team was like, dude, we got it. George came to me first person. Coach Smith was like, he started smiling. He's like, we gonna get him in the overtime. Just keep playing like you've been playing. I went out there. I played even harder. I was getting all the positions. I was looking for Donald. Getting all the looking for, you know what I'm saying? Locked up whoever. I ain't trying to take over the game and take all the shots. I'm gonna do what I kept doing: defending, extra possessions, running the floor, maybe get a dunk, running the floor. I don't know, but I did the things that kept us, and then we ended up winning by 6, and then we won the championship. That's what happened. I wasn't known to be the best listener in the world.
It's all good though. It's all good. So the second story that I heard, because when you mentioned Phelps being the engine to the team, basically the one running the team. So when I had him on the show, he broke down like a story about when Coach Smith basically he stopped in practice, stopped the play and everything in practice. And, you know, Phelps being a New Yorker, you know, he a point guard, you know, Phelps thing was just a form of being of a habit, basically. You know, you come up the court, you bring the ball through your legs. Like that's New York style ball. Right. So, but Coach Smith basically told him, like, he stopped play in the middle of practice and was like, like, and his voice, the way that he did his voice and everything was like, it'll make the hairs on your arms and on your back just stand up. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, you're trying to show off? Like, I can, if Derek was like, coach, like, it's just a form, it's just a habit, like, or whatever. He was like, nah, you don't do that unless you're making a play on somebody.
Exactly.
Basically.
I got that too.
So yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then he mentioned the other story about where he said that he stopped play and told Derek, like, are you running this team or who's running this team? And Derek was like, like, what do you mean? He's like, it's your job to make sure that B. Reese and Lynch and Montross are all in their spots. It's your job to make sure they are there. And Derek was like, what do you mean? That ain't my job. That's their job.
Exactly.
What he's supposed to get to. Like,
I used to do this one, especially freshman year. I used to get the ball, and I don't care who was on me. I ain't think nobody called me 1-on-1. That's because of the high school. I was, averaging 29. So this is my thing. If I had cleared space by myself and it was just me and you, when I used to catch the ball, I used to get the ball, drop it between my legs, and get low, act like I'm gonna come at you. Like, you ain't stopping me. I got pad and I got bounce. So that's when I'm thinking that was a turnover. And then I was so used to doing it. And, at Carolina, you got to catch the ball over your head first and look inside. Then you can do that and then the shot. When you run and catch the ball, you got to look, and then that's what we was taught to do. But I ain't, like I said, I ain't know that until you learn how they do things. I used to get the ball dropped. I used to back up and act like I'm turnover. Right. That was a turnover for me, and which it stopped me from doing it. It made me quicker to go. Stop playing with the ball. You playing against college dudes. Dudes get up on you. You don't understand that. until I have Rick Fox my whole freshman year. I'm going to be taking the ball from me for trying to do stuff that you need to take out of your game, basically. And then another one is I used to jump because I used to jump so high and be athletic. If I can't get to the rim, my used to just lean in, and I used to be trying to, scoop the ball up or do off like lean shots, turn over immediately. Even if nobody touching it, even the white team was getting the ball going back down, and guys would be mad at you. Stop leaning in, stop dribbling first, because you only get a certain amount of possession to try to win the series that we working on, things like that. Whatever we doing at the time. You don't want no turnover. You're trying to win. That part of practice. Man, coach me. You learn. Do what I say. They don't even scream at you like that. You know what I mean? Just like it's a turnover. We don't do that. We look for each other. If you got it, you better make something happen. If you don't, you coming out. You want to hear that voice of his. So I understand where Derek is coming from.
That definitely takes me to my next question.
Cool.
Because I ask, of course, I when you hear different, hearing its stories is just incredible, because as a fan watching everything on TV, you don't hear about this type of stuff, right? But being in this space and being able to speak to people that have played with Coach Smith, Coach Guthridge, Coach Williams, Coach Davis, things like that. You don't hear about a lot of the stories from like behind the scenes on what the coaches was really like. And Dean Smith, greatest coach to ever do it. I don't care what nobody says.
There you go. Bottom line, stay like that. I mean, great time.
Dean was, it's funny because it was like it made it when I heard some of the stories, and it seemed like Dean could be a sinister if he wanted to. Like when I talked to Salvadori, right? Salvadori told me, I think it was either him or Chili, right? Talked to them, and one of them said that they called the timeout. They was losing to Oklahoma. They was down by like 9 or something like that. And as soon as Dean called the timeout, he would get in the huddle and just get the smiling, like, guys, isn't this great? Like, this is what we play for, right? Like, and it's like, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, he might be saying all of that, but the man is cooking up something that is getting ready to like change this whole thing. And it's just for a man to never curse, things like that. Newbie told the story that they was doing something wrong in practice, and Dean just basically told him like, yo, get out of my gym.
That's quick.
Now that's crazy to think about, bro.
Okay.
But at the same time,
I've been on a few of those lines. Had to get out of the gym. I used to put the stupid face on. New York face. So like times
big flex.
Skate, get Brian. Yeah. And I'll start running this.
Yeah. That's a flex.
We don't do that here.
That's a flex when you can sit up there and say, get out of my gym. And when you really not get off the court, none of that or whatever. No, get out of my gym. And when you really think about it, I mean, the man has a point. His name is on the building. Let's be clear. Like, I mean, huge flex, bro. Huge flex.
Man. Like it, without even raising the voice, kind of just like, man, you ain't doing what I'm asking you to do. You're not paying attention what's going on. And then when I say something to you to correct you, you got a face on?
Right.
That's how Deans do it. We don't do that.
So that brings me to my question, because I do want to know, like, what was it really, really, really like playing, and what did you learn? Like, I can't say what did you learn the most, because there's so many things that you could learn from him. But what was one of the most key point things that you learned from him, and what was it like actually playing for Dean?
One of the things for me is definitely just his coaching style. I'm not saying I coach like him or anything, but just as a player there's so many different things you have to learn about the program and the way he wants things to happen. Okay, so I learned how to become a better basketball player. Okay, and a thinker. In certain situations, how to handle things. And he's really, if you pay attention to it and you really a student of the game, it's things that you don't even think of as a player, but him as a coach, and he see what you have in you. At me, just me. I'm talking about personally for me, not for everybody else. But like, he was good at bringing that out in me, and I've seen him do that with each player as a coach. You know how hard that is. And to the point from your family, and I try to do that with the kids. I still can't get on his level. You understand? Not even close. But that's what I learned from him. As far as basketball and just in life. Come on, he was unbelievable at it. Life after basketball, when you start playing for him, and you one of his former players, and when you go in there and talk to him, it's real stuff. It's stuff for you, not for him, but for the person that he's talking to at that time. And we all different in so many different ways. I'm not getting the same treatment as Derek Phelps when he go in that meeting. His meeting is totally different from mine. And that's even as a player. When I used to go into meetings a lot, it was always about how he was making sure I use my voice on the court and off the court to encourage the guys, give encouragement to whoever, Salvadori, Eric, anybody got their head down. It was my job to bring their head up and know I got them. That's what he told me I need from you, Brian. And that was so valuable, he felt. And at first I didn't think about it, but that helped me a lot and played a lot and showed him that type of leadership within our team group. I was one of the guys that had a little bit more voice. Even since my sophomore year, like Hubert, he was our leader too my sophomore year, but he wasn't as vocal as much. When things was hitting the fan, he ain't gonna be like, "Yo, what are we doing?" Derek has said too, like, "Yo, hold on, I'm a say, your man killing you. Hold on, let me get him down. You get him. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we can't." But I wouldn't say it in a demeaning way or making anybody feel funny. But we got to figure it out. We ain't gonna sit here and act like dudes ain't on their assignment and it's all right. Because I'm on my assignment, so I expect the person behind me, and I know we all make mistakes, but I was good at being able to tell the other players things like that. Derek, he want to do it, but Derek can make you hurt your feelings because he got no filter. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. So everybody got their way about him. Like I said, even as a player, I came and brought that along with me to coaching. That's how I've been. I felt like I've been in this coaching world with players and dealing with the players and trying to develop players and just kind of like knowing everyone as an individual. I think Coach is great at that, and he helped the guys that was on my team, former players that's been there. He was great at that. And then at the same time, like I said, afterwards, unbelievable. He's your best friend. You know what I mean? All of us feel like he like me more. That type of deal. He make me feel like that. He like me more than you. But I'm telling you, he loves his players. He could do anything for us. I mean, because you came, gave up your time to UNC, and you did all the things that he asked of you as hard as you can, and all in the right way, and to represent UNC in the right way.
Yeah. And it's what makes it even more incredible is the fact that, number one, Bill Guthridge was the same way.
Same way.
Same exact way that a lot of people don't know. Roy Williams, same way. Hubert Davis, same way. Like when you think about it, right? Like, and this is just how deep it could really go if you sit back and think about things. Dean Smith never cussed. Bill Guthridge never cussed. Roy Williams.
You're ready to punch in your face, though.
Now they may do that. They may do
That's
that.
My man Gut. That's my man Gut. That's my guy.
Yeah.
He had a talk to the coach. What are you doing? Come on, Bill.
Yeah. He may do that. May do that a time or two, but he never cussed. Never. Roy Williams never cussed. Mm-hmm. Hubert Davis to this day now don't cuss. Nope. To see that within the UNC family is remarkable, because so many other schools, they come in, coaches change, these coaches, they get out there, they get the cussing all on the court and, all of that or whatever the case may be. But to see that from so many different generations, I guess you could say, not so much generations, but generations, because Dean and Guthridge is one generation or whatever. Roy is a whole nother generation. Hubert is now in his generational stage, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But to see that is still the same, that none of these coaches have cussing or anything for so many years. That's the thing. Like Dean, and Coach Smith was there at the 82 championship. So we're talking that I can think of from 82 up until 2024, basically. Like, if you really want to just break it down like that, like put it all together from 82 to 2000. And of course it's before that, but for me to remember, because like I said, being born in 81, 82, you get the championship. Coach Smith was probably, I forgot when he came to Carolina, but he was there way before then. I mean, it's generations. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just incredible, man. Like the UNC family, I tell everybody, even if you're not a UNC fan, just do your research on the history. Like, you don't have to be a fan. I don't have to like Graceland, but Graceland is probably a historical place. Do the research. That's probably like one of the best analogies, I guess you could say, or whatever the case may be. But just do the research. Just do the research and just look at the history. You don't have to be a fan, but the history is just remarkable. It's incredible.
Even if you're not a fan, you're gonna respect it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You disrespecting yourself. Like you're not really a basketball person. You're not serious about it if you don't respect it. At least.
Listen, no school can do like one of the episodes that I did a while ago that I mentioned to you earlier or whatever.
Exactly.
No college can do
you really had to break it down earlier when you was telling me. You really had to break it down and try to figure it out, and it's so close. It ain't like it's off the charts. Like they just gonna kill each other.
Not to mention, let's not forget about all of the players that wasn't mentioned.
Come on,
it's incredible.
Put things in perspective, man. Put things in perspective just from that talk right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Big shout out to Dean Smith, man. Like, just incredible. The GOAT coach, the greatest of all time, the greatest to ever do it. I know about the check that he sent to all of the players. Dinner's on me. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, nah,
so you never spent it.
No, I'm keeping that.
When I spoke to Newbie, right? Newbie said the same thing. He didn't know if he wanted to use it or not because
he wanted us to use it though. He tried to make that a point. He said, "Use it, don't hold on to it, use it." So I gave it to you, but like I said, that's between me and him. That's me.
Yeah, and that's what Newbie, and that's the same thing that Newbie said because Newbie's thing was, listen, I wanted to honor what he said, but if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't have spent it or anything.
That's what I'm saying, because he definitely made sure he was like, please, this, that, man. I haven't done it though. So, like I said, I'm not the best listener. I kind of like I move how I want to hold on to, and I got in the frame, minding business where I want it to be. So
yeah, that's remarkable, man. Remarkable. Nobody has ever done that, and now if somebody ever does it, we already know why they're doing it.
He's always been authentic and original about how he go about all the stuff he does. But that he's done. Excuse me,
Bringing in the first black player should say everything.
Come on. Charlie. That's my guy too. Charlie, my guy. Yeah, man. Peace out to my man Charlie.
Yeah. So like that should say everything right there within itself.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to. We don't even have to get into more depth of what he did for the game and how he changed the game. We don't have to. Just you mentioned that right there. That's it.
But that's what I'm saying. Pay attention and look at the history. Like how you do your research.
Yeah.
You see how he did it, how he put all this together, and how he made sure I want everybody to be together. Even I don't care when you went there. I'm cool with whoever been there long time, like 20, 30 years before me. I'm cool with them. I can reach out to them and act like it ain't nothing. And then the same thing with the new guys, with me, with everyone that came through. But I show my face. I'm around.
Right. And this is the last thing that I'll say about Coach Smith, because a lot of I don't think no coaches are doing that today, right?
Yeah.
What one of the biggest things that stood out to me that Coach Smith did back in the day was he told Patrick Ewing that he didn't have no space for him. So he sent him to John Thompson in Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Ewing being one of the most dominant players at that time. And here it is, Coach Smith rejected him, basically.
Who who was there? Who was at UNC when during that time?
Oh, I mean, he had Big Kurt, he had Big Games, Brad, I mean, he had Jeffrey, like he had him.
All right, so he know what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. No coach would do that in this era.
No
coach is turning down a dominant player for them to come to their team or whatever. Like, if anything, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you want to come to my team? I tell you what, here's $3-4 million too, alone to go with it."
Exactly. Coaches don't have that in them. None of that happened there with Coach.
Yeah, for sure. So, B, let me ask you this, because it's another question that I ask all of the players that played during that time and played with him. What was it like playing for 00 or playing with 00?
Playing with Emo, that was the best. That was my center. I love, like I said, I grew up with him since 13 years old. He was the first person when we went to 5-star camp, special rising ninth graders or whatever. He was top 5 rising ninth grader, just like I was. It was me, him, Eric Montross, Grant Hill, Damon Bailey. It was like, if you were one of the top coming in freshmen in high school, they had this thing at 5-star development, whatever. And I met him there. And ever since then, we was always cool. Cause I was a big fella. Sean Brady was there, but just me and Eric really clicked. And then ever since then, we went to all at Nike America camp stuff. We was always cool, playing against AAU. And now we playing together. It was unbelievable. I'm getting the ball to Emo. You know what I'm saying? I'm screaming for him. It was great because he was our anchor. You know what I'm saying? Greatest dude ever on and off the court. Great family. I mean, that's my guy. He's someone you talking about talking to and listening to and hearing. You know, when I'm trying to be extra, Emo was in there. B, come on, B. It's easy for him to get me straight on doing the right thing at all times. It was important for the team too. And sometimes, when you're young, you want to hear that, especially getting your feelings when you think this is supposed to be happening for you. This is supposed to be happening for you. Eric was always that person that I know I can really talk to. And then on the court, come on, man. I drive. I'm throwing it up. I'm drive. He's going to be there to come. He's getting the ball. He got somebody on his back. He's getting the ball, especially from me. He know I'm throwing him the ball. And if he missed, I tell him I'm getting all balls. But we need you. we need you to get that hook right. I'm serious because we had to get him going. We get him going first. He gonna have a good one, defensively or offensively. That's a bonus for us when we get Emo going. Okay, because I felt like Derek going to lock up. George is going to lock up. Miles going to lock up. For sure, we gonna get extra possession. However we gonna do it, but we gonna make sure Emo will have opportunities. So it was great playing with him. He rebounded big, he played big, and then everybody always try to punk him a lot because he was quiet. He is nice kid. He know. Yeah. I ain't let nobody punk my big 6-7 foot guy. You know what I mean? I don't care. Little cheap stuff, whatever. No, not Emo. Because we needed him, and he showed up every day from practice to the games. To the games. That's once again, he was a freshman that played pretty good minutes, And I mean, at that time when we came in like 90, Coach Smith wasn't playing freshmen that much, Right. Like Derek was getting minutes, I was getting minutes, and Eric was getting minutes that year, So it was pretty good. I was great playing. I love playing with him.
Yeah, man. That was a to really it's incredible when other schools recognize greatness, right? Like the year that when he passed, and you would watch Carolina games because he was calling all of the Carolina games, no matter whether they was on the road or at home, right? Mm-hmm. So after he passed, and Carolina may go to Notre Dame or Clemson or Boston College, wherever, right? And these are away games. But to see the school like Boston College or Notre Dame or Clemson or whomever put a what do you call that where you put something in that person's seat to remember them by, basically.
They brought to the program just having something. They had an open chair for him representing him in remembrance of him. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's incredible. That shows you right there the power I guess you could say. And I might not, power might be the wrong word,
no,
but
it's who he is as a person. He's a good, he's a really good person. He extends himself wherever you go. Because I can just see where you're coming from with it. Him going in these different places, calling game or not, they recognize who he was when he came in there. He gonna speak to everybody, have a smile on his face, and make you feel like you knew him for years. Because he did that to me when we was 13, 14 years old. You know, like, that's who he was. And that's one of the reasons, too, because of my relationship with him and Pat and Derek, that I knew them very well. I want to go to Carolina. You know what I mean? I didn't know Cliff as much, but then me and Cliff became boys, hardcore boys, even more so than me and Derek. My freshman year, me and Cliff was hanging out all the time. So, you know what I mean? Like, with Eric, his personality, that's why he did that. You know, that thing from every place he went. People recognized him for his work he put forward in, commentating all these games for UNC. You know, paying no homage to him. You know, because he deserved it. He deserved it. Come on. I was right before he passed. You know, I was going to some of his treatments with him. Me and George went with him. Had good talks. You know. And you know, for me, it hurts me a little bit because, I just seen him like 2-3 weeks before that, and then all of a sudden it just changed. And 2 weeks was everything was changing almost for the better, and then boom, I call it, check on him, and Pat Sullivan is calling me. You know, I'm like, oh man, and then I knew, get a little funny because that's my dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's gone. But we always love him and definitely support him. So.
Absolutely. I mean, 00 forever, for sure.
Forever, for sure.
Like, I mean, that's I've even heard incredible stories when I was a fan of some things that he was doing. Not so much since I've been able to talk to players, but just as a fan, I've heard incredible stories. Like I went to school with a guy that got into a bad car accident, things like that. And guess who came to see him?
That's who he is. That's who he is.
Bought the championship ring with him when he came to see him. Let the guy that I was going to school with, let him put the ring on. Now, I mean, of course, he told me when he put the ring on, he's a small kid. The thing just felt giant. It couldn't fit at all. But, just to hear that story, because it was just like, wow, that's amazing that, how Eric Montross found out about your accident and he came to see you, came to visit you in the hospital. That's amazing. Like that, it just shows the character of who he was as a man, as a commentator, as a player, as a husband, as a friend, everything. Like
he's top of the line. You know what I mean? Top of the line.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mother, his father, all of them. I mean, they helped me so much. You don't understand, like, games and whatever. Even before I came to Carolina, I knew his father. And I would see them, and me and Eric always. I'm telling you, I don't never not act like I ain't know Eric. Even before we realized we was coming to school together, he still was like my guy too. So I'm gonna miss him, but like he got kids. All we want to do is just keep, loving on his kids and his family when we see them, of course, and keep telling them how great their father was, and we miss him 100%.
For sure.
That's the thing. They still around. Still going to get to see them. So that's the blessing.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%. So, I got to ask you, because I ask everybody,
cool.
Give me and the people your most memorable one of your most memorable on and off the court situations at UNC?
At UNC at Chapel Hill, when I was at Chapel Hill,
Yeah.
one is definitely in '93 when I hit the game winner against Wake Forest. Coach gave me the call, tried to win the game. Missed the first shot on P44. I was supposed to look for the big man. But like I said, I'm trying to win the game. That's all.
Right.
I got a little floater. I got to my little midi, missed it, came off. I seen it, got it, put it in. Won the game. So that was, he ran off the court. That was my biggest moment. I feel like at Carolina that I was so happy. My second one was, of course, we won against Florida State. I had like 28 points, and I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So that was kind of like highlight for me too. Off the court at Chapel Hills, I'm a member of Kappa Outside Fraternity Incorporated. So I'm a Kappa. So I was the first black athlete to ever pledge at Carolina. And I did that in 91, fall in 91. So that's my bros there, my line. That was big time for me to do, especially as a player and playing at Carolina. Coach Smith told me I couldn't do it. He didn't want me to, of course. But once again, I said I'm not the best listener in the world. So I'm part of something. I felt like I needed that for going to UNC. Know where I'm from. I'm from what I joined, my fraternity that I joined. Right. So that's my off campus deal.
I got you.
My memories.
Hey, it's once again, like, just like I tell everybody's stories, a lot of their stories are the same, but different journeys.
Yes, sir.
Like, and they're all incredible stories. Like, I don't know if people really understand how important it is to be able to talk to you all to hear these stories, because of the fact the fans want to know what B. Reese, what Kevin Salvadori, what Pete Chilcutt, what Rayshawn Terry or David Noel, what are they doing now that they're not at UNC? Okay. Like, and it's just for these different stories. Once again, everybody's the destination is the same, but it's just different journeys, and every single journey it's incredible to hear about. Like, I mean, because I always want to know what the players have going on, what it was like, because I always wanted to play at UNC.
Right.
And of course I never got the chance to do it, but there are things that I've always wanted to know when it came to like UNC. Like, what I see what it's like to play for Coach Smith on the TV, but what was it really like to play for Coach Smith behind the scenes? Same thing with Guthrie, same thing with Williams, same thing with Davis. Like, these are things that that I'm sure I'm not the only one that want to know these things when it comes to the alumni players or, staff members over at the university, whatever the case may be. So, it just, and two incredible stories. Like I said, man, you's like Mr. Swift to me. Like, you just the way that you change direction so instant, and all of a sudden, like, you could be coming from the left baseline going towards the basket, but then the next thing you know, it looked like you might be running, still going towards to the right side, but you make that quick move and go straight to the, like, it's unique. bro. Like it is just so unique, and it like I learned a lot from watching you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I learned a lot. I love the game of basketball. So, you know, when I used to get out there and play with friends and things like that, like, yo, I'm about to try this. I'm about to Brian Reese it tonight. I'm about to 31 it tonight. I'm about to 31 it tonight. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, like I said, your whole game style, gameplay is just so unique, and I've never seen nothing like it. I've never seen anything like it, man. And I mean, like I said, a legend, bro. You a legend. You a legend in many ways that you may not think you are a legend. You are a legend for sure.
I appreciate
for
that.
Sure. Absolutely. So, B, I gotta ask you one last question. Your expectations for the team this year. I mean, I know we a few games in, but how you feel about this year's team?
I've been at practice a few times already. I watched the Kansas game. That was about it. So I didn't get a chance to really watch them play yet. But what I've seen from practice and a little bit of the Kansas thing, I think we'll do well in the ACC. How far we're gonna go, time will tell. I think because the changing, the same thing that every college coach has to deal with right now is the changing of new people every year. So it's going to take time to mesh them all together to either get, I don't care what level you play on, and we're dealing with that right now. You got to get these new kids to mesh and bleed into your program. And now you got a whole bunch of kids that don't know anything about North Carolina. They might think they know. You already said it from the outside looking in. But once you're in it, it is totally different. How you want to react to that? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to buy in? Or you just want to tip your toe around and think and act like you know what you're doing, and then you don't play and you're not doing the thing to help the team to win because they once again they all need each other still. You got to make sure and see if all that works. So if all of that works, I feel like we can get to a place to definitely make the tournament, okay? Depending on how we play, like usual, on all these kind of teams, we can get to the Sweet 16. You know what I mean? Can we get a championship? Everything got to fall in line. Injuries, the bigs got to grow up. You know, we got to, I know Withers, he's a little experienced, but he's still small, you know, he's not a true center. He's more of a power forward. Whether you know what I'm saying, like, but he played kind of big for us and do a lot of things in the forward position for us. So you need some scoring inside. You know, you need somebody got to be consistent enough scoring and then hold down the fort like on the defense. And you have to do two jobs. Usually when you get to that Sweet 16, to the Final Four, there's more defense, okay? Yeah. Big's going to be there, or the big's going to be more of an impact. Even though the guards run the show, I get it. The guards got to be hot too, don't get me wrong, but if you don't have no inside presence or having some offensive presence, it's hard. It's really hard. Everybody ain't letting you get to their rim like that when you're down in the Final Four, the Sweet 16.
Right.
The game's changed. So that's just my thought. But I think we're still going to be good. Do I feel like we're just going to win the national championship? I think we got ways to go.
I'm just so excited, man, that college basketball is here. I am extremely excited about it. I think it's just going to be a fun season. Not just for UNC, but for college basketball fans. Like, I love these early in the season non-conference tough games. I love them.
Yes.
They got
We're going through that right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Before we even got on, like, I mean, you told me that y'all had to see Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. Now, like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rutgers, we fought though. We competed, but we definitely saw them for sure. Harper,
yeah,
they gave us the business.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure,
But
for sure.
that's like you're saying. Those games are going on that now. We played Michigan State already, so Temple we already played. So it's good games. We didn't come on top, but we try to compete as much as we could, but just the games is unbelievable. It's a great experience for the kids, especially for our program.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I gotta ask you this. So when watching the American game, Jackie Manuel came back to UNC.
Okay.
Is there? I mean, with him being an assistant coach at American University,
Okay.
Is there a possibility that for next season we can get Monmouth to come to the Smith Center for you and King Rice to come back to Chapel Hill on the other side of things?
Of course, I would love it, but that's one of the things Coach Rice. That's his department. I show up for the game. I had no input on who we play or who we not gonna play, but that'd be great. I would love every moment of that.
Yeah.
We did it the first time I was here. I was with Coach King Rice probably like 10 years ago. 9 or 10 years ago. So when I was with him the first time he got the job here 15 years ago at Mama, we played. It was unbelievable. Team. I couldn't even believe I was in there coaching this Coach Williams, and just being there. It was unbelievable. Just being there, having that opportunity.
Yeah. Listen, I got to get with King, man. I got to get with King.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna let him know that I got on the podcast and tell him more about you. He'll do it. He'll link up. He ain't a big time interview with me, but we'll talk to him. He needs to participate. Now, definitely, I'm telling Chili did it and let him know, so he know, and then he know me. I did it. Dia be in his ear, so it should be cool.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely appreciate that. Listen, if I could get you on the show, I know I can get him on the show. I mean, not being interviewers or anything like that. Listen, if I got 31 on the show, then I know I could get King on the show. I know I could get King on the show, and hopefully he accepts the invitation, because I definitely would love to speak to him, man, for sure. So,
cool.
Yeah, listen, I totally and truly appreciate this, man. Like I said, it's been an honor, to just be able to sit and chop it up with you, man. And I mean, once again, a legend in my eyes. Fully support whatever you got going on, bro. And if you ever need anything, this is an open invitation for alumni players. It's always an open invitation. You welcome back anytime, bro. Like, all you gotta do is just hit me up and be like, yo, me and King and D Phelps want to come on, or whatever. We could always just set it up, bro. It's no big thing.
Feel straight. No, I'll do that. We'll make it happen for sure.
Absolutely.
We together enough, so I'll rap to him and we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Brian Reese.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me. Had a great time, my brother. Like I said, we'll connect. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. So, B, got to let everybody know where they can find you at, or or anything like that on socials, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I'm not into social too much, but I'm on Instagram for the real Brian Reese 31, and basically Twitter, same deal, Brian Reese 31 at Twitter, and I'm part of Monmouth University men's basketball. You follow me through my men's basketball. That's the support I need to support my team.
And for all of the fans, y'all already know all of the information is going to be in the description at the bottom of this video, of this episode. So make sure y'all reach out to B Reese, man. And you know, it's always go Heels, part of the Carolina family. Once again, a legend. And we gonna, you know, wishing the best for you and Monmouth, this and King or whatever, you know, for this season. Hope it's successful for sure. Hopefully I get a chance to check out some games somehow, some way, because you know they don't really show a lot of them like that. But
but you know, we up there a lot because our league is up there. We play against North Carolina A&T. They in our league now, College Charleston. So maybe I can shoot you up. Usually there shows Elon. We play Elon, so then games be televised in that time. So I'll shoot you when we play them.
Absolutely, like definitely let me know when that Elon game is, because
look at our schedule.
Okay. I'm gonna check that out because I ain't too far from there. I'm 30 minutes from Chapel Hill, so I mean Elon is right up the road, basically.
And I'm always there. My son is he's supposed to be a freshman, but he started as a junior because his academics is so crazy. You go to Carolina. My son so I'm up there a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, anytime, of course, anytime you in the area, bro, like all you got to do, you know, you can hit me up. We go out and get a brew and get some wings or something.
I'm gonna hit you, my brother. Trust me, I'll hit you up. That's me. Like I said, we already linked up. Like I'm always there. I got 2 places in Charlotte. I'm always there. My family's there because we had to do that for the school situation. You know, like I told you earlier. But I'm there all the time. I'm in Chapel Hill. Like I said, my son going to school there. I'm making sure he's great. When I go to the game, I make sure I'm involved and I'm around. So I'll link up with you.
Absolutely. Like that. I appreciate you, my guy. Hey, B, you know what that means, right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Somebody's at the door. We gotta have to figure that out. So listen, stick around for 1 second. Just stick it. Yeah, I'm gonna close everything out. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to make sure y'all like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on my socials, and until then, I'll catch everybody on the next show.